Good evening, Bronx Middle School Math. We are going to be going over some practice problems. Still on it with fractions. We're doing some more manipulating, but now we're introducing and bringing in number lines. These problems should be familiar. I really hope they're familiar to you because these problems are from the lesson 6 homework. We are going over lesson 6 homework. Now, unfortunately, because we're in quarantine, we don't have that much time in class to go over all of the homework problems. So that's what this video is for. We're going to go over all these homework problems, okay? So let's begin. Number 2. Now, I don't want you thinking, you just said we're going to do all of them. I hope y'all know how to do large number multiplication and long division. Y'all should be able to do those independently. So we are going to go straight to the meat of the problem here. Use an appropriate scale to place each value on the number line below. Be sure to label your number line. Okay, so these numbers are small. Good thing we can zoom in. So A, we have 4 ninths. We go down and we do half of 1/3. Okay, so we're going to have to do some math for B. C, 1/2 plus 1/4. Okay, we're going to have to do some math for C as well. And I can see we're going to do math for D. 5/6 minus 1/3. All right. So A is given to us, but we need to do math for B, C, and D. And then once we figure out the value of B, C, and D, we're going to put A, B, C, and D on the number line. We're going to make our number line and place the values on there. So I want y'all to figure out what would be half of 1 1/3. I'm going to give y'all some time, and when you're ready, start the video. Okay, here's the answer that I got. Check your work and see if it matches my answer. 4/6, which should simplify to 2/3. But if that's not what you got, don't worry. I'm going to walk us through. So let me erase my work so I can walk us through. So 1 1/3, that is a mixed number. Okay, so 1 1/3 is a mixed number. And that's where we have a whole number and a fraction together. So I'm going to turn 1 into a fraction so that I can simply add it to that fraction. So 1 whole. In order to add it to 1/3, I need a common denominator. So 1 whole with a common denominator of 3 would just be 3/3. That is the same as 1. So we're going to do 3/3 plus 1/3, and that's going to give us 4/3. Well, the question asks for half of 1 1/3, so half of 4/3. So divided by 2 over 1. And you know that when we divide fractions, we would do this. We would multiply by the reciprocal, which means we would flip 2/1. So let's flip it, and that is going to turn into 1/2. So now 4/3 divided by 2 turns into 4/3 times 1/2. And the answer is going to be 4, because we multiply straight across, over 6. 4/6. And I know we've been doing simplifying fractions. So 4/6 simplifies into 2/3. Boom, baby. So let's put that as our final answer, 2/3. Okay. And in my opinion, that's the toughest one. B is the toughest out of all 4 of these. So let's simply do this. 1/2 plus 1/4. Now I can't add these because there's not a common denominator. So I need to manipulate 1/2 so that it can have the common denominator of 4. So 1/2 times what? So 2 times what equals 4? 2. So 1 times 2 equals 2. And now I have our new manipulated version. 2 over 4 plus 1 over 4 equals 3/4. Not too bad. All right, let's go down to our next one. 5 over 6 minus 1 over 3. We have the same situation here. We only need to manipulate 1/3 to give it that common denominator of 6. So let's do some manipulation. 1/3 times what equals 6. So 3 times what equals 6. That's pretty easy. 2. 1 times 2 equals 2. So now we have 5, 6 minus 2, 6. And when we're subtracting fractions, we do not change the common denominator. So it's going to be 6. So 5 minus 2 equals 3. 3/6. That is our final answer. Okay. So now these are the fractions we have. We have 4 over 9, 2/3, 3/4, and 3/6. These are fractions that we need to place on a number line. In order to put these on a number line, we need a common denominator. So what is a product that all of these can go into? What is a product that 9, 3, 4, and 6 can go into? I think it would be easiest if I list off the products of 9. So 9, 18, 27, 36. Okay. Now let's do 3. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36. Okay, we got one. We got a matching. We also have another matching, 27. Okay, let's keep going and circle the ones that are matching. Okay, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36. Okay, we have another matching right there, 36. Last one, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36. Boom. So we can see that the common product amongst all four of these numbers is 36. 36 is our common denominator. So let's go. Oh, my bad, y'all. There we go. Let's delete it and just write out our common denominator is 36 because all four of these numbers can evenly go into 36. So now I need to manipulate every single one of these fractions to get it to 36. That way I can compare these evenly because right now, if you ask me which is bigger, 4/9 or 3/4, which one is bigger? I'm not going to lie. That's tough. I don't know. I can't evenly compare these two fractions because they don't have a common denominator. So let's manipulate these fractions to get them to a common denominator. So 4 over 9 times what to get it to 36? I'm just going to lay out, what was that, 2/3? Then we got 3/4, and then we got 3/6. So I got okay, so let's do this one by one. 9 times what equals 36? 24. And whatever I do to the bottom, I gotta do to the top. So 4 times 4 equals 16. 3 times what equals 36? 12. And whatever I do to the bottom, I gotta do to the top. 2 times 12 equals 24. 4 times what equals 36? 9. 3 times 9, 27. 6 times what equals 36? 6. 18. I can now evenly compare these fractions. Let me write out these fractions here. So 16 over 36, and then 24, 27, and 18, all over 36. I can evenly compare these now because the denominators are the same. The only thing that's different is the numerator. So I compare the numerator, and I can see that A is the smallest, D is the second smallest, and then B, and then C is the largest. So let's go put these on the number line. So 1 whole is going to be 36 out of 36. That's a whole. And 0 right here is going to be 0 out of 36. So let's count how many of these dashes there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So since there are 12, we can say that each dash is 3. Yep, that works out. So let's plot A, B, C, and D. So A is 16 out of 36. And then D, I believe, is 18 out of 36. Check my work. Yes. Okay, then B is 24. And then C is 27. Okay, I apologize for the previous work on this. So Mark is reading a new book for his literature class. The book has a total of 160 pages. Mark's goal is to complete 1/4 of the book by the end of the week. If Mark has read 24 pages so far, what fraction of the book does Mark have left to read by the end of the week to reach his goal? So his goal is to read 1/4 of the book. Okay? So the question is asking us, what fraction of the book does Mark have left to read by the end of the week to reach his goal? His goal is 1/4. So what information is provided? So we know that the total book is 160 pages. His goal is 1/4 of the book. And he so far has read 24 pages. Let's see how many times I can say that over and over. So here I made a number line. 160 is the entire book. 160 over 160, that's 1 whole. And I know halfway through, that one's pretty easy because I just did half of 160 is 80. So 80 out of 160, that's halfway through the book. Halfway through the book is 160. That one was pretty easy. But his goal is 1/4. So where over here is 1/4? That's what we are trying to solve for. We are trying to solve for 1/4 of the book to figure out his goal. Because we know he's at 24 and his goal is 1/4. So we need to figure out how many pages are between him and his goal. So 1/4 of the book. How do we solve for that? Well, one way we can do it is look at this number line and kind of take it half and half. So I did pretty easily eyeballing it. I did 160. Half of 160 is 80. Well, half of 80 would be 40. So pretty easily right there, I could know that 1/4 of 160 is 40. Another way you can do it is I had a scholar do 4 times 40 equals 160. I had a scholar come right out of the gate and do that. So that told me right there that 1/4 of the book would be 40 pages. Well, another way you could do it, if you just like fractions, it could be 160 pages times 1/4. And that's going to be, when we multiply fractions, we multiply straight across. 160 over 4. Now I'm asking myself, how many times does 4 go into 160? 40 times. So his goal is to get to 40 pages. His goal is to get to 40 pages, but he's currently at 24 pages. So how many pages left until he reaches his goal? We're going to subtract that, and we know he needs to read 16 pages to reach his goal. Okay, we figured out the question. That was what the question was asking us, but I'm going to go above and beyond, and I want to find out, what is 3/4? What if he wants to get to 3/4 of the book? What are some different ways we can solve for that? Well, I know 1/2 plus 1/4 equals 3/4. And half of the book is 80 pages, and 1/4 of the book is 40 pages. So that's going to be 120 pages. That's 3/4. That's one way you can solve for it. Or you could do 160 times 3/4. And when we multiply fractions, we multiply straight across. So we're going to do 160 times 3 over 4. 480 divided by 4 equals 120 pages. So 3/4 of the book is 120 pages. There are several ways you can solve this problem. And like I tell my scholars all the time, there are several paths that lead to the top of the mountain. Use the path that is best for you. Okay. Mrs. Nicholas baked 2 batches of cookies. The first batch consisted of 120 gingerbread cookies, and the second batch consisted of 150 shortbread cookies. Mrs. Nicholas saved the same fraction of cookies from each batch. If Mrs. Nicholas saved 20 more shortbread cookies than gingerbread cookies, what fraction of the cookies did she save? So let's start off with the information we do know. So first batch of cookies, 120. I love the smell of gingerbread cookies. I'm just going to put ginger. And then on the second batch, she did shortbread. Okay, there we go. And the question wants to know, what fraction of the cookies did she save? So I want y'all to pause this video and press start when you think you have the right answer. What do you think we need to do in order to solve the problem? Press start when you are ready to go. All right, scholars, let's see if any of y'all were able to solve this tough cookie challenge. So, what's the difference between the shortbread and the ginger? So, the difference would be 150 minus 120. That's going to give us 30. Okay, so I have 30. That's the difference between the batches, okay? And it tells us that Mrs. Nicholas saved 20 more shortbread than ginger cookies. Okay. So she saves 20 more, but the difference is 30. Let's reduce that. Okay, I'm going to divide the top and bottom by 10 or by 2. 5 can go into both of those. Okay, so 2/3. So she saved 2/3 of each batch. That's okay, that's a lot of cookies. But how can we know if that's the correct number? Now, y'all could have done a trial and error. You could have done, okay, I'm going to multiply 3/4 and 120 and see what I get. And 3/4 times 150 and see what I get. And then if the difference between those two is 20, then I did the correct answer. And you could have done that for half, 1/4. You could have done it for all the fractions you wanted just to see. And so let's do that. Let's see what happens. Okay, so 3 times, Okay, now let's do it for 150. Ooh, I need to clean up here. Okay, 3/4 times 50. Whoop, my bad, y'all. So we're doing 450 divided by 4, and we get an uneven number. We're going to have 12.5 cookies. So maybe she can eat the half. Well, let's see. Is 112 minus 90 20? No, it is 22.5. But the problem tells us that Mrs. Nicholas saved 20 more shortbread cookies. So we know that it's not 3/4 because it's 22. We need that answer to equal 20. Okay, well, let's try half. Let's see what happens there. Okay, so she saved 60. If she saved half of 120, that'd be 60, and half of 150 is 75. And the difference between 75 and 60 is 15. So we know that didn't work because we need it to be 20. Okay, well then let's go with our original. We got 2/3 because the difference between shortbread and ginger is 30. And we did the amount she had left over the difference, and we got 2/3. So what would happen if I wanted to check my work and did 2/3 times 120. That'd be and the difference between 180 is 20. That fits out. Because remember, it says that we need to have 20 left over. So she saved 2/3 of each batch. That was a tough problem, but we got through it. Here is our last problem. Robin planted 12 bean seeds and measured the height of the plants that grew after each month. The height of the plants are displayed in the line plot below. So each X represents one plant. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 plants. Let me erase that now. Erase my doodles. Okay. Oh, didn't get that freckle. Got it. Okay. So we know that there are 12 X's. Check my work again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Boom. Perfect. What is the combined height in centimeters of all 12 plants? Love it. Okay. So we have 4 plus, and then we have this number in between. Then 5, a number in between, a number in between, and then 6. So we need to figure out what this value is. Oh, not that one. In order to add up the heights. Because right now, look at this. If I knew the value, I could figure out the amount of that total height. So let's focus on 6. So the total height for this category would be 6 times 2 because there are 2 plants and they're each 6 centimeters. So the total height of that category would be 12 centimeters. So I need to figure out this value so that I can figure out the entire category. So whatever the height is going to be 4 times question mark. And whatever this height is, it's going to be 3 times question mark. This one, the work is done. There's only one 4 centimeter plant, and the same with this one. Only one 5 centimeter plant. So I'm going to zoom out and see if y'all can solve this number line plot. Press play when you're ready to go. Okay. Hopefully this is the answer that you got. So we're going to be doing 3 times 4 2/3. Then we're going to do 4 times 5 1/3. Then once we figure out the amount in each category, in each height category, we'll add up the entire total to figure out the height of all the plants, of all 12 plants. So let's focus on, let me circle it. Let's do this category first. Now, I'm going to be real with you. There are several multiplying. So 4, 8, 16. Now I got to do 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 2/3. That's pretty easy since the denominators are already the same. So life is easy right now. 2, 4, 6. 6 over 3. And 3 can go into 6 2 times. So that gives me 18 centimeters. The total height of that category is going to be 18. I'm going to put the total of each category at the bottom so that afterwards we can come in and clean up really easily. Okay, now let's do this one. 4 times 5 and 1/3. Oh, I apologize. I didn't do multiplying this way. 3 times 4 and 2/3. And then you can do 3 times 2/3, which would be 6 over 3, and you would get the same answer. Okay, now let's do the one we were just talking about. My bad, y'all. My bad. Okay. 5 and 1/3 times 4. Now, again, you could just do 5 and 1/3, 5 and 1/3, 5 and 1/3. And that would give you 5, 10, 15, 20. And then now all you have to do is 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3. Because when you're working with mixed numbers, you can split it in half. Focus on the whole number and then the fraction. And then just combine them at the end. I know for me, that's the easiest way. And that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 over 3, which is an improper fraction. So let's turn it into a mixed number to get it into a proper fraction. So 3 can go into 4 one time, and we're left with 1 over. So we're going to do 20 plus 1 over 3. And our final number is going to be 21 and 1/3. So let's go put that here at the bottom. 21 and 1/3. And we're doing blue. 21 1/3. All right, and we already solved for 5 and 2/3 and 12. Okay, I'm gonna clean up. So now we are just adding. We're just adding at this point. I apologize, y'all, but we are back at it. So we are almost done. All we have to do now is add up these blue colors. Oh my goodness. Oh wait, no. I got them all. Okay, checking your work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add the whole numbers because I want to make life easy. So I'm gonna do the easy ones first. So 4 plus 18 plus 5 and then 12. Okay. Let's add those and then we can come back to the other ones. Because adding 21 and 1/3 and 5 and 2/3 is it's not as instinctual. Okay, now we got to add 21 and 1/3 plus 5 and 2. Oh, I put the 5 in the wrong spot. My bad, y'all. Miss Tharp is tired today. Okay, so let's take this to the bottom. Let's go to the bottom, deal with it there, take it outside. And I'm going to put a So like we said, when dealing with mixed numbers, you can focus on the whole number and then the fraction. So 21 plus 5 is going to be 26. Now let's do 1/3 plus 2/3. So the denominators are the same. So all we have to do is focus on the top. 1 plus 2 equals 3. 3 over 3, that's 1 whole. So that's going to be 1. 26 plus 1 equals 27. So I can take this and do 27. So 39 plus 27 is going to equal 66 centimeters. The total combined height in centimeters of all 12 plants is going to be 66. Let me put my answer in the correct spot. All right, y'all, that is it for the Lesson 6 homework packet. If you have any questions, please write them down and take them to your teacher for tomorrow. Y'all have a great night.